So now we have Rangel trying to make the best of it with his cute little alpaca. We still have the monkey, but he is quite lonely. And so it is a relief when somebody crashes on our property and we actually have the choice to capture him, which we do. And our plan is the same as before. We are going to slowly break his spirit by being nice to him and then force him to be friends with us. Hopefully he doesn't die. And he survived. Yes, finally. So the game is really liking me right now because he's surviving and thriving. Well, maybe not thriving. But we actually have a new colonist to be. But the game still smiles upon me because an abandoned child has arrived named Setsuko. So we can turn her down or send her away, or we can have her join us, which obviously we're going to choose because we need more people. And then after being here for only 2 minutes, the game decided to give me a heart attack because I saw this pop up. And since the game referred to her as a child, I had to check her age, and she is 18, so it makes sense, but I really wish they would have called her a woman when she arrived because that really just gave me a heart attack for a second. Anyway, yay, we have a pregnant colonist. That means another colonist to be. Also, I don't know, I thought it was really cool to see how that works because I immediately, after the first part that I posted, I bought the DLC because I realized, you know, you can't have babies. I thought that was in the game, like in the base game. I feel like it should be, but never mind. I happily bought the DLC, so now we get to see how that progresses. We also got a ram and a ewe, which we got earlier from traders, as well as one alpaca. So we're hoping to kind of have a little, what do you call it, flock of animals in that pen, have some babies there as well, babies galore, so that we can shear them, get some wool, and if need be also some meat, although I prefer to avoid that because I get emotionally attached to pixelated animals. I know, I'm weird. We then got another raider that invaded our territory, so we had to get ready for a fight, and that included the pregnant Setsuko. But she handled it like a pro. It helped that I learned from my previous mistakes, so I made sure that there was plenty of distance, although I should have moved Rachel earlier, but it all worked out just fine. Unfortunately, this person died, so I couldn't recruit them, but at least we won the fight. And by now our prisoner Ram was awake, so I made sure to set it to recruit so that we could actually start recruiting him. But I started with reducing resistance only because he had quite a lot of resistance, 13. So I wanted to make friends with him first, braid his hair, paint his nails, the whole shebang. And here you can see her trying to bond with him, and then the resistance has lowered a little bit. So we'll take some time. Then we had someone else attack us again, and this time I made sure I went ring around the rosy while Setsuko shot him, which actually worked out really well. But we did end up getting injured, so we had to heal. But it was really fun trying to run around while Setsuko shot him. And then at some point he saw he was a bit too close to her, but then he was already dead. So it all worked out just fine. Then we had a group of traders come by, and one of them was the sister of Rangel. Yeah, I immediately went over there to see if I could buy anything, and also to see if there were any other interactions, but there weren't. So that's a bit of a shame. I was kind of hoping maybe I could, you know, get her to join our colony or something, but there was no interaction, no way to do that unless I've missed something. So that was unfortunate, but at least we got some trading done. Then fate was tempting us again because Rams got the plague, and I was very nervous about this because, I mean, we finally had someone to recruit, and I was a bit traumatized by earlier gameplay events, so luckily he turned out to be fine. And then I got a pop-up about Setsuko. I left that message there on the right, which apparently did not trigger the birth-giving process almost, because many days passed and she still didn't give birth, and it wasn't until I clicked on it that she soon gave birth. So then there was a fire, because this game really likes to make things tricky for us. I think this is the thing that I hate the most so far in the game, because it's so difficult to counter or prepare for. Although, I mean, I guess if you have stone and make walls of stone, or maybe build like an outside thingy around all your buildings made of stone. But I realized this later. And also I don't have that much, so I need to mine a bit more. But yeah, things escalated pretty quickly, as you can see. I tried my best. She was still pregnant there, so and she caught fire a little bit, so that made me very nervous. I was like, no, please, please, please don't take her away from me. She survived, but the room did not. It was her room, her beautiful room with all this stuff we had stocked there as well. So yeah, fire is my arch nemesis so far in this game. Did not care for it. A lot of blowing had to be done. And to make matters worse, we finally had a little baby lamb. 2 actually, and they died from the fire, which I hadn't realized that they were on fire as well. So, and then I checked out the whole map. Yeah, here, this is where I was like, ew, okay, great, wonderful. I'm never gonna blow this out. And, well, you can't. So you just have to wait for the rain. But yeah, this was quite traumatizing. Yeah. I also didn't realize that you need to refill the torches. And when you don't, that, you know, you have this wooden thingy with the thingy through it. Okay, that's good English. Anyway, Setsuko picked that up and then broke the wall, and that was the only time I went back to an earlier save, because that was the only thing that I wasn't going to let happen, is for a silly mistake like that to have rams leave. So I built a wall around that, because I couldn't figure out how to get rid of that without breaking the wall. So this is me desperately trying. It keeps missing that spot, so then I clicked on it, and then it was fine. In the meantime, I kept on building. I had to make a new room for Setsuko and the baby, and I moved the assortment pile indoors, and I added a little extra spot for growing crops. Then I was attacked by a weird bison thing, which I think is called a bison, something that is similar to bison. And again, I had to do Ring Around the Rosie while Setsuko shot it. He just went a little bit mad and wanted aggressive cuddles, but we beat it. Although there was a big trail of blood and Rangel needed medical care. Then both Rangel and Setsuko suffered some breakdowns, but luckily they both got better in time for a new enemy to show up. They didn't have the breakdown at the same time, by the way, but it was still quite difficult when it's just the two of you and one of you has a breakdown. But anyway, so we got this new person who attacked us, and we managed to capture her as well. So we added her to the prison cell. She was quite injured, so I wasn't sure if she was gonna make it, but I was gonna try. She seemed to be on the mend though, so that was good for us. And we just went on as always. And it was perfect timing, because this is when Rams actually officially joined us. Yay! Then Setsuko went into labor, and it was not a pretty sight. I had Rangel rescue her and bring her to the hospital bed, where she eventually got up and left and then passed out again, so that was fun. But eventually she had a healthy baby girl. By then I was so distracted by everything that I ran out of food, and this happened while there was a cold snap, which was wonderful because then your crops die and you've got nothing, nada, zip, zilch. So I was looking at slaughtering my animals, which caused me a lot of pain in my heart. And I had to rely more on berries and stuff, which I, to be honest, in the beginning I didn't really do. Didn't even really notice the bushes that much, to be honest. So this was me exploring the herbs that I could get that could heal, and the bushes with all the berries so that I could eat them as well. And since all my crops died, I sort of had to find a balance between hunting, slaughtering, and gathering. And eventually I also realized that you could actually build walls and a roof over your crops in the ground, of course, and basically have an indoor field. Then while Setsuko took care of the meat, the other prisoner was healing and decided they felt healthy enough to stage a breakout. So then I had to deal with that. And while Rangel's fighting for his life, Setsuko is just walking past, getting some meat, and having a conversation with him. Luckily, she was still alive, so I could just bring her straight back to bed, where she now needed to heal some more. And then we had to assert our dominance again when somebody else showed up trying to hurt us. We won the fight and they were still alive, so we brought them back to the prison as well, and now had to nurse 2 prisoners back to health. And just like that, we might have 6 colonists on our hands soon.